after losing to the Milwaukee Bucks in the quarterfinals of the in-season tournament, there's been a lot of chatter about what the Knicks need to do in order to move forward in this season. And Bleacher Report just posted an article answering that question. And I'm here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest, and we're going to get right into today's video. Bleacher Report posted an article talking about the Knicks and what they're going to do this season. Knicks don't expect to land star player during the 2023-24 season. So, if we take a look into the actual article itself, according to Fred Katz of The Athletic, the Knicks don't expect a star player to become available in the middle of the season, meaning they have to make smaller moves to supplement what they already have. Katz added that the Knicks hope to land Philadelphia 76ers center Joel Embiid has lessened due to the Sixers' success, and they haven't shown serious interest in acquiring Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, or Nikola Vucevic from the Chicago Bulls either. Now, after reading that quote from the piece of the article, as far as the Knicks fans, it kind of puts us at a little bit of a stalemate. I mean, Chris and I, we've been putting out videos, a lot of videos since the quarterfinals loss to the Milwaukee Bucks in the in-season tournament. It feels like the Knicks have reached a certain ceiling, and we kind of don't know which way to go from here. I mean, it looks like the Knicks are they're gonna look to add role players to the team. There's not really one star player that's out there that the Knicks can target. I mean, yeah, the rumors have been swirling that 76ers Joel Embiid, that he's been looking to come to the Knicks, but with the subtraction of James Harden going to the Clippers, Tyrese Maxey having a huge step up this season, it looks like Joel Embiid is pretty content with the 76ers right now. So it looks like he's not going to be asking for a trade. So, and then this whole Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, like, I don't really know what that does for the Knicks. I don't know how higher of a ceiling that adds to the Knicks if you add DeMar or Zach LaVine. Nikola Vucevic, like, yeah, he's a good big man. You know, he could shoot the three. He's an incredible post player. But to be honest, his move going to the Chicago Bulls, I've been a little underwhelmed. Now, you can look as far as the excuse, you know, Lonzo Ball. When Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic, when they were all on the team healthy, I believe the Chicago Bulls were one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. But ever since Lonzo Ball went down with that weird knee injury, which is, what, 2 seasons ago now, that the Chicago Bulls have been just dismantled, and it's just been, I don't know what's going on with that organization. But I was expecting a little bit more from the Nikola Vucevic. Like, I was expecting more from him, and I don't know, it just seems like his game has actually dwindled away coming from Orlando Chicago Bulls. So that's not even an enticing player to look at if the Knicks want to trade for him. So at this point, we're kind of at a stalemate. The Knicks are just gonna have to keep moving forward this season with the team that they have, and or looking to add role players to the team. And in my opinion, I talked about Chris in one of the earlier videos that we did. I felt like Julius Randle, if the Knicks are going to put Julius Randle on the trade market, since there isn't an actual all-star player out there, I think they should be looking for role players in return for Julius Randle. Now, of course, I'm not looking for players that are 9th, 10th, 11th men off the bench for Julius Randle. Absolutely not. Julius Randle is an all-star. He has made the All-NBA team 2 out of the last 3 seasons. So the role players that we get back should be significant role players. They should be 6th men, fringing starting 5 type of role players, if you catch my drift. Now, another article that Bleacher Report actually posted today that kind of goes hand in hand with this situation goes on to talk about Karl Anthony Towns. So if we take a look here, Karl Anthony Towns trade rumors. Knicks checked in, never made offer to T-Wolves. And let's dive right into the article. So in the article, as the New York Knicks explore options to find another star they can pair with Jalen Brunson, the front office at least looked into Karl Anthony Towns' availability earlier this season. Per the Athletic's Fred Katz, the Knicks checked in on the 3-time All-Star but never made an offer to the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you guys have been watching the content that we've been putting out on Knicks Digest, Chris and I, we have talked about the possibility of adding Karl Anthony Towns to this team. I'm not sure if, again, that's going to raise the ceiling for the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns in his last few playoff outings, it seems like, as far if you're gonna build a team around him, now I know if he comes to the Knicks, the team's gonna be built around him and Jalen Brunson, not just solely on Karl Anthony Towns. But if Karl Anthony Towns is one of, if not the best player on the team, I'm not sure how much further your ceiling is going to be as a team. Right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's almost as if it's a changing of the guard. The team has been Karl Anthony Towns' team for the longest, but the emergence of Anthony Edwards, especially this season, I mean, people, if you're a basketball head and you've been watching basketball, you can tell that Anthony Edwards was going to make that leap, and it was going to be Anthony Edwards' team, and it was only going to be a matter of time. But I feel like this season is the season you can say like it's Anthony Edwards' team, no question, no debate. And it looks like Karl Anthony Towns is okay with it. It doesn't seem like there's this ego battle going on between them two. It seems like Karl Anthony Towns is fine with just being the 1B to Anthony Edwards 1A. But I'm not sure if they make that trade available, and if they actually make it and bring Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks. One, more than likely Julius Randle is going to be in the trade package. Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, it's a possibility one of, if not both of those players are going to be in the trade package, including the first round draft picks. The Knicks have 8 first round draft picks, 4 belonging to them, 4 belonging to other teams. And I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan of Karl Anthony Towns, especially within the last few playoff appearances. That playoff appearance he had against the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round, which was 2 seasons ago, where they lost in 7 to Memphis. Karl Anthony Towns' basketball IQ, I don't know what it was. I don't know if he was just too excited and he was too amped up, but he was fouling out of games, making horrible plays, traveling. It looked like it was his first stint in the playoffs when he's been in the playoffs before. I believe it was the year where actually Coach Tibbs was coaching the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jimmy Butler was on the team. Derrick Rose was starting point guard, and they lost to Houston in the first round. I'm not sure if it was 5 games or 6 games. So it wasn't like it was Karl Anthony Towns' first stint in the playoffs. Like, I felt like he should have expected the intensity to raise. He should have known what was going to be coming towards him, because at that time, Anthony Edwards, I think it was his rookie or second year in the league. So Karl Anthony Towns was looked at as the leader, and he was looked at as a person that was going to lead them past the first round. And when your star player or when your leader is making really bad just basketball decisions, it really questions where he lies within the NBA landscape. Chris and I, in one of our most recent videos, we did name a few players that are rumored to be in the trade market. Just like the article said, talked about Zach LaVine, DeMar, Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, but it looks like these players are not going to be available in the trade market. So at this point, it kind of look like I said in another previous video, it kind of looks like the Knicks are going to be just rolling with the team that they have, and or at the trade deadline, they're going to be adding role players. As far as what type of role players, we got to wait and see. But another option that I think the Knicks have is there's always 1 or 2 players that end up asking for an exit of their team. They're either upset about their situation, they decide to play the player empowerment card, a la James Harden, and they want out and they request out. And then when they do request out, there's always like 1, 2, or maybe 3 teams that they have on their list. And for some reason, the organizations in today's NBA world, they actually acquiesce and they try to send that player to that team. In my opinion, like, I am for player empowerment, but when players start to abuse it, a la James Harden, that's where I take a step back. I've always been a believer of, if you are a professional basketball player or a professional athlete and you sign a contract with a particular organization, you are supposed to play out that contract. If you signed a 3-year deal, a 4-year deal, you are supposed to play out that contract. Now, if there's a situation where an organization just completely disrespects you, then that's another situation. But within the last few years, these players that have been playing the player empowerment card, it's just because they're not happy with their situation. And if you're just not happy with the situation and that's why you're requesting out, I feel like that's not really fair. I feel like you owe the organization the contract that you signed. You need to play it out. And, obviously the player empowerment era started with LeBron James when he decided to take his talents to South Beach. But yeah, man, I mean, as far as this season, we're going to see where the Knicks go. We're going to see what they do at the trade deadline. We're going to see if an all-star player does request around the trade deadline time. We never know. And there's probably a player out there that Chris and I have not talked about that is not on anybody's radar. Leon Rose, we know that he works behind the scenes a lot. He is keeping his eye on the market, and we'll see what happens. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I want to say thank you so much for checking this out. Leave it in the comments. Make sure to let us know if there's a particular player that you have in mind that Chris and I have not talked about. And we'll check you out on the next video. Peace.